Our house is on fire.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Extinction Rebellion live stream.
Severe ice loss.
Coming to you live from Farnborough, sunny Farnborough. We are here today joined by the Greta Thunberg, as well as the Greta Thunberg. You might be a bit confused about that, but we have a ship here called the Greta Thunberg, but we have the actual person as well. Just so exciting. So we'll be talking to her shortly. But meanwhile, what are we doing here? Let's move away from the loudspeaker a little bit so you can hear me. But what are we doing here today? So most of you will probably already know that Farnborough is the home to Farnborough Airport. So Farnborough Airport is a private jet airport. It exists purely for the luxury of the elite, the 1%. We'll let the alarm go off. We'll let you enjoy this for a moment. So that is the lovely ship by XR Brighton, by the way, the Greta Thunberg. So Farnborough Airport, private jet paradise. Although, and again, we'll talk about this in a moment, if you look at their website, they sound amazing. They're all carbon neutral. Apparently their fuel is made out of wasted cooking oil waste, and it all sounds brilliant. Obviously, it's not. So we'll be talking about the greenwash and the lies later. We'll be talking to former pilots, aviation engineers, and we'll be talking to Greta Thunberg herself, who has joined us on this protest. So some facts for you now. It's so shocking, you think I made it up, but these are the facts. So, we have the richest 1% are responsible for 50% of all aviation emissions. Now, that is just 1% of people are responsible for 50% of all aviation emissions. That in itself is shocking enough. It gets better. So, we are looking now at Farnborough wanting to expand. At the time of a climate and ecological emergency, it is complete madness. So at the moment they have 40,000 flights a year. They want to rev that up to 70,000 flights per year. On average, the number of passengers on the planes coming in and out of Farnborough is 2.5 people. So not even 3 people per flight. And over 40% of the flights coming in and out of Farnborough are actually empty. So we're just walking along now to one of the gates at the airport, where we'll be listening to speeches by Todd Smith from Safe Landing, former pilot. We'll be listening to various other campaign climate activists, Farnborough Noise Group, lots and lots of really amazing speakers. We'll be bringing it to you live all the way. I'm just going to stop you from walking into there's lots going on, as you can see. So you can see here behind me, we've got Greta, joined by Todd, former pilot, and other activists carrying the banner that says ban private jets. The message is clear and simple. We do not need private jets at a time of total climate and ecological breakdown. We need to be flying less, not more. And we certainly cannot justify flights going in and out of this airport with only about 2 passengers per flight. There's a new service as well you'll be excited to hear about, called Pets on Jets or something along those lines. And it is especially that you can fly your dog in total luxury to Dubai or to Monaco or wherever it is you want your dog to go for a nice holiday. This is now all possible with the Pets in Jets service from Farnborough Airport. I mean, you have to laugh, because what else are we going to do? You know, we can't cry about it because we would never get anything done, so you have to laugh. But yeah, here, this little pooch, you like to go on a private jet? He's like, hell no! Then private jets, hell no! So, yeah, it's all just too ridiculous for words. The sad thing is, there is a sense of very interesting history to Farnborough. It is the place where, in 1908, one of the first flight took place on British soil. It's yeah, I mean, you know, so it is like the birthplace of British aviation. A lot of stuff has happened here. It used to belong to the Ministry of Defence. It's played a massive role during during the Second World War, during the Cold War, of course. Lots of innovation, lots of development. But in the 80s, the Ministry of Defence decided, yeah, this is not really worth our while anymore. We haven't really got the money for this. Let's do something else. And then in 1994, they decided, okay, we're going to make this a business aviation centre. Now, bear in mind that 1994 is only 2 years after the leaders of the world agreed at the Earth Summit in Rio to tackle climate change. And yet 2 years later, the UK thought, I know, we're going to do something about climate. No, we're not. We're going to keep this airport running and encourage private jets to be flown all over the place. So back in 1994, really, the government could have said, well, let's not keep this as an airport anymore. Let's maybe build some houses. Let's maybe rewild some of it. Let's maybe do something for the future of this country. But they decided to do the opposite. So it went wrong already a long, long time ago, before most of us were even around. Well, I mean, I was around, but, you know, young people weren't. So it's a shame. So 1994, they made that massive mistake. And then I think since 2018, it's been a functioning airport.
If you stick back a bit, I'll go forward a bit.
Yeah, okay, great. So, yeah, so the protests around Farnborough Airport have been happening for several years now. Members of the local community have been extremely active, but it's beyond just local communities as well. There's UK-wide campaigns, Stop Aviation Expansion, Stop Airport Expansion, that are also campaigning against the expansion of this airport. So we'll be talking to all of those people very, very soon. For now, we are having this lovely march from the town centre of the town of Farnborough to one of the gates. Lots of support, actually, which is great to see. Obviously, it's a joyful, colourful, uplifting march, but the subject is extremely sinister. It shows this complete disconnect between the richest 1% of the population and the ordinary citizens struggling to make ends meet. The fact that more and more people are coming into incredible amounts of wealth, whereas poverty is massively on the rise, shows that there is just a fundamental flaw in the system that we're living in, where social and economic injustice is at the center of all these issues. Not to mention racism, misunderstanding of systems and how it all fits together. It's really quite shocking, and the fact that this is happening and that they are expecting more flights out of an airport like this, which really runs only on private jets, is extremely concerning. So, more of that later. What have we got planned for the day? So for those of you who have only just tuned in, this is the Extinction Rebellion live stream. We are about to get to one of the gates at Farnborough Airport. Now I understand there's about 28 gates. So we did say, are we going to be blocking all of the gates? We'll need a slightly bigger number if we're going to block 28 gates. That is not the point today. Today we're going to be listening to speakers, explaining to us the situation, what is happening and why this airport is so bad. They want to expand Farnborough Airport. They want to increase it, almost double the number of annual flights. And it's completely unacceptable in this day and age where we are already seeing climate and ecological breakdown right here in the UK. This isn't some faraway problem for another country. This isn't some faraway problem for a future generation. Climate breakdown is here now, it's happening now, and yet we are seeing plans to almost double private jet flights from this very airport. So, I think we've arrived at the gate now.
Where you all going to go, do you think, just around here?
Yeah, I think so. Cool. Yeah. So...
Could I have a moment with you after?
In about 3 hours. So, would you want to be on the live stream? Okay.
We'll just block the road ourselves.
Yeah, we'll just, so you're seeing it here live. The XR live stream team are blocking a road as we speak, although it doesn't seem like many people are actually coming down this road. In fact, it would only be 1% of traffic will be coming down this road, because this is in fact an access road to Farnborough Airport. And you can see over here the airport where it is all happening and what it's all about. So, what else can I tell you? We've got, in fact, Andrew has very kindly made me a list of speakers, which I will now consult. So that those of you just tuning in and you're wondering what are they up to today, well, we are currently blocking a roundabout, just the two of us, which is nice. We've got people from various organisations who are actively campaigning against not just the expansion of Farnborough Airport, but also against for the ban on private jets as well. So we've got Colin Shern, who from Farnborough Noise Group. He'll be speaking later. So he's been campaigning on this for a long time. He, in fact, now has an injunction against him. So he's obviously been around for a long time and has pissed the police off several times. So well done, Colin. Then we have a lovely pre-recorded message from Chris Packham with support for the people taking part in this action as well. Here we've got the wonderful road blockers for, so we're now no longer just the two of us standing on this road, which is nice. Then we've got Todd Smith from Safe Landing, but also you'll know him as an XR live streamer as well. He does a brilliant job, but Todd is a former pilot. He and some other people from the aviation industry have set up Safe Landing, and he'll be speaking on behalf of them. Then we've got Steve Clark from No Airport Expansion. We've got a lovely puppet show from XR Families. We've got Anna Hughes from Flight Free UK. We've got DJ Bud playing us a few tunes. Julia Longrig from the Quakers. Amy from Greenpeace. We have a local councillor as well, Paul Follows. He's the leader of Waverley Borough Council. So as you can see, lots and lots going on. So do stay tuned for the Extinction Rebellion live stream. And of course, we'll be having a little chat with Greta Thunberg, as in Greta Thunberg, the person. I promise you, I'm not going to be chatting to the boat, although, you know, maybe we'll do that later as well. But, so yeah, stay tuned. Here comes the Samba band. Yeah. So, those of you, it's nice and loud that, which is of course the point, because airplanes are really loud. So, for those of you just tuning in, welcome to the Extinction Rebellion live stream with me, Marine, and Andrew behind the camera. So we're just walking up to the one of the many gates of Farnborough Airport. Now, Farnborough Airport is a private jet, luxury, super deluxe airport that prides itself at being completely carbon neutral and selling fuel that is a mix of animal fat and cooking oil. I mean, it sounds amazing. Obviously, complete nonsense, and someone much more expert on this subject than me will be talking about this very, very soon. But more of that later. So they're doing a brilliant job at some excellent greenwash. I think definitely one for the Greenwash Awards at some stage.
How much they want to increase the flights by?
So at the moment they've got around 40,000 flights a year, and the plan is to expand that to 70,000 flights. Now that's nearly double what they're currently doing. And in case some of you have forgotten, we are in fact in the middle of a climate and ecological emergency. So of course we need to be flying a lot less, not more. But Farnborough seems to have its own plan. It is of course the airport for the 1% rich elite. So the rules don't apply to them. Yeah, so we're here looking at Farnborough Airport right now, where on average the flight, the number of passengers on a flight is only 2.5, so not even 3 passengers per flight. Around 40% of the flights fly in and out of Farnborough empty, and they now have a brand new service called Jets for Pets, where you can fly your pooch up and down to Dubai or Monaco, Saint-Tropez, wherever it is you want to go.
We are just delivering the lightship exhibition. Lightship is going to be the stage for our speaker. Once we've got her set up, we're going to ask you to compliment that right down towards her to show some of the speakers and some of the performers.
Oh yeah, so I don't know if you're able to get the sky there, Andrew, but if you can just see how many trails of airplane, what do you call those?
Contrails.
Contrails, yeah. I mean, that about sums it up, really. I think job done.
That's about the size of the CO2 emitters. That gives you a rough idea.
Yeah. So there's an extortionate amount of flying happening, not just in the UK, obviously, it's everywhere, but the fact that this airport here now wants to expand and increase the number of flights a year to 70,000 with very often not even anybody on board is just outrageous. We get asked, I just did an interview and again we were asked, yes, but it's providing jobs, it's going to pump millions of pounds into the economy. At what costs? And also I think we've seen the trickle down argument where we think people are going to somehow financially benefit from, billionaires flying in and out of this airport. Of course, it's not going to benefit people. The jobs that we need are the green jobs, jobs that people can be proud of, jobs that are going to last. The aviation industry is on its way out. It cannot continue to grow. And so people are going to lose their jobs. We need to be finding them alternative jobs. We need to retrain people. We need to make sure that they are looked after and supported so that they can deal with the fact that their jobs are not stable at the moment. So that argument is just sadly one that we hear all the time, is that we're expecting people to give up their jobs and that we're trying to block the economy from growing. That is not at all what we're saying. What we're saying is these are not the jobs that we need to be providing people. We need to be giving them green jobs. I mean, off the top of my head, I can think loads of good things to do with this space. I mean, imagine if we could do something truly useful with it. But we'll see. I mean, I think we're going to be hearing of a few alternative options later as well. The point is, of course, that it's not just about this airport. There's private jets everywhere, and the use of private jets all over the world is increasing. This is just one of the many hubs, like a physical space where we can be a symbol of that increase.
Shall we go down by the chant?
Yeah, let's go and see who's chanting over there. There's some people making some noise, which is great. We love to see it. So let's have a look and see what's happening over here at the gate. Can you see?
What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want?
Climate justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
Say, what do we want?
Climate justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Climate justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
Woo!
Who shut shit down?
We shut shit down.
Say, who shut shit down?
We shut shit down!
Who shut shit down?
We shut shit down.
Who shut shit down?
We shut shit down.
Brilliant. Right, might this
Power to the people,
be... No.
cause the
People got the power.
Tell me, can you hear it? Getting stronger by the hour. Power! People! Power! Power to the people,
Power to the people.
cause the people got the power.
People got the power.
Tell me, can you feel it? Getting stronger by the hour. Power! People! Power! Power to the people. Cause the people got the power. Tell me, can you feel it? Getting stronger by the hour. Power! People! Power! Power to the power.
People got the power.
Darling, can you feel it?
Can you feel it?
Stronger by the hour.
Stronger by the hour.
Start interviewing people.
People!
Get a good place for the boat for the speeches.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I could clear a path, you tell me where you want it.
Kind of over here, so we've got the
Can we
airport.
clear more of a path for the stage to come through, please? Sorry.
The boat is going to be the stage as well.
Yeah.
So this is great.
How's the protest going so far?
So we're just moving around a little bit because I want to try and interview some people, but I think we're first going to watch how the very coordinated effort of getting the stage up in the right place where we want it to be. So we're going to listen to some speeches, but I am also having a little look around for some of the people that we want to speak to get some clarity on aviation, aviation fuel, aviation emissions, and all of that sort of thing. So we will be hearing from the speakers very shortly. But as always, it's very hard to find people in a big crowd like this. Let's have a little look here.
Let's have another refreshment. Where are we?
So yeah, while we're looking, let me just refresh everyone's memories. Those of you who've just tuned in, we are at Farnborough Airport over here. You can see it here behind me. You can see the private jet wonderland, really. So it's actually not just a hub for the UK, but for all of Europe. It's a super deluxe, amazing, state-of-the-art airport where the richest 1% of the population are emitting over 50% of all aviation emissions. So although according to their own website they are carbon neutral and the fuel is made out of pixie dust, but we're going to talk about that later once I can identify where some of our experts are. They're hiding somewhere in the crowd. So basically this is not just a protest against this particular airport, although this particular airport is massively problematic. They are going to expand. They want to expand anyway unless we can stop it. They want to go from 40,000 flights a year to 70,000 flights a year. So that's almost doubling their flights while we are in the middle of climate and ecological breakdown. When we are at a time when we need to be flying less, being much more sensible about how we treat our planet, and Farnborough have a very different idea and they want to in fact do the opposite. So we're going to have some announcements to listen to now. We're going to have some speeches, and while we are listening to the speeches...
Hello, can you hear me? I said, can you hear me? Welcome to Farnborough Airport.
There's a press person asking for you.
Did
you follow this lovely lady here?
Come from a really long way. You are so welcome joining us here today. Thank you so much for coming. And I can just say, I came here a few years ago and there was 20 or 30 of us trying to block 2 gates and we failed. And look at us now. I joined Extinction Rebellion 5 years ago now, and I did it because I felt totally powerless to do anything about the climate emergency. And joining it and being part of actions like this have made me feel so much better. So thank you so much for coming here today, whether you're angry, whether you're sad, whether you feel despair. I hope today makes you feel better and makes you feel that we can make a difference if we come together. Alright, so I'm going to give credit where credit's due. There's so many different groups have been part of pulling this thing together. So let's say a big thank you, first of all, to the team who made it possible, who are standing around us being very humble, who've done a huge amount of work. Bravo! Woohoo! But let's also say a huge thank you to all the other groups that are here today and represented today. So Farnborough Noise, Safe Landing, Flight Free UK, Greenpeace, Friends of the Earth, Stop Airport Expansion, Alton Climate Action Network, the Quakers, XR Scientists, XR Families, and all the local XR groups. And a big thank you to those XR people who've come from as far as Wales and Sheffield and lots of other places across the UK. Thank you. And I think we also have to start by acknowledging the crew who brought this amazing ship here. Bravo, lightship Greta crew, thank you so much. And an enormous thank you to the Samba Band. Okay, some practical stuff. If at any time you need some blues, they're over there. There's some food and drink over there. Please go and get it. If you need any help, please talk to the stewards. Stewards, please wave your hands. They're in pink. Right, we're going to be here. We've got a full programme of activities, and we hope you're going to really enjoy this afternoon. So, first of all, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a group called Farnborough Noise. So Farnborough Noise provides information to councils and MPs and the public about this airport and about its impact in terms of its noise, its emissions and the pollution that's caused locally as a result of it. And the airport, of course, is not very happy about Farnborough Noise because it's looking to expand. So I think many of you here will already know what they have done. They put an antisocial behaviour injunction on the chair of this organisation. I know. And his trial is coming up in early February. I mean, mad. So, despite this gagging order, we have got Colin here today. So we'd really like to hear what Colin has to say. So let's welcome Colin to the stage. Colin.
Hi everyone. I must say I'm not the chair anymore. I stepped down when the court case was announced, and it's happening next week, the 5th to the 7th. One more thank you. I wanted to say thank you for a lot of members of the public who probably don't normally come on demonstrations, who are infuriated by what the airport is doing. So thank you for coming along and showing your support. Also, we've got a petition going. It's got nearly 5,000 signatures against the airport's expansion. Please do sign that. We've got QR codes with us. And also, there's still time to submit your objection to the Rushmore Borough Council planning application. Again, we've got the QR codes for that. So, why am I wearing a suit? Why would you wear a suit coming to a demonstration like this? I must say I've not normally dressed like this, but the reason is that we've invited Mark Harper MP, the Secretary of State for Transport. We invited Rob Bishton, the CEO of the CAA, and we invited Simon Gear to come and talk to us, because they won't talk to us, and they haven't talked to us for 3 years. Now, if any of them are here, please make yourselves known, but otherwise they're wasting my time putting my suit on. Thank you for raising the issue about the ASBO. The United Nations has now picked up on this. The the special rapporteur, who is part of the Aarhus Convention, has asked for a statement, and you may have seen that the UK has just been reviewed last week and come out appallingly in terms of the way it treats climate and environmental activists. So the issues that we've raised with the airport, with the DFT, with the CAA, that's the Civil Aviation Authority, why hasn't noise been measured properly or at all, as it was supposed to? The CEO of the CAA committed to MPs last year that it would happen, and it hasn't. There's been no measurement of pollution and the harm that causes, and the business case for the planning application wasn't done properly. So, for example, they included all of the benefits to the airport, but none of the harm to the people locally, whether that's from noise, pollution. The fact that there are 47,000 children in 110 schools under these new flight paths and there's been no measurement of pollution is just disgusting. There's been significant loss of amenity because of the increase in flights and the proposed flights increase in the future. We estimate that it would take about £2.5 billion of value off the value of people's properties in the area. That's not included in the business case, it's just the benefits. And then finally, if you look at the cost of capturing the carbon from the current flights, it's about 40 million a year. And the projected increase in flights, it would increase to about 200 million a year. So that's more than the profit of the airport. And you have to remember the airport is owned by Macquarie Group. Big boo. Macquarie Group owned Thames Water and now owns Southern Water. And we've seen what they do with the shit that goes down the rivers. We have to pay for it to be cleared up. And they want to do the same with the carbon emissions that we'll have to pay to clear it up. So in terms of our demands as Farnborough Noise Group, we want to have a meeting with the DFT and the CAA and the Farnborough Airport, and we want to have a proper dialogue so that we can ask the questions and get answers, not we decline to answer that question. That is not a dialogue. So Simon Gear, I know that you read a lot of the stuff online that we publish. The onus is on you to meet with us and have a proper conversation and answer the questions that the public want to have answered. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Simon, and we'll all be thinking of you on the 5th of February. Okay, so the next speaker wanted to be here in person, but unfortunately, he's filming Winter Watch. So he has recorded a message specifically for us today. So I'm now going to hand you over to the light crew who are going to put his message on. So a message from Chris Packham.
Right, hopefully you're here because you simply just could not sit by and let Farnborough Airport continue its assault on our planet. Frankly, because you're awake and you've seen Libya, Pakistan, Japan, Nottingham, Shrewsbury, York, maybe your back garden inundated with severe flooding at the same time as you've seen private jets taking off with fewer than 3 passengers, and frankly you thought, well, something's not quite right here. Maybe it's because you felt the searing heat of a 40-degree summer, and it's going to be warmer this summer, whilst 40% of the flights from this airport, yeah, that's 40% of the flights from this airport, take off without a single passenger at all. So frankly, you're there because you know that that's wrong, and thankfully you've decided to do something about it. Now, I know it's been proclaimed many times, but it can't be overstated. It's this: the poorest and most vulnerable in our society and around the world are suffering the most from climate devastation caused by a tiny, exceedingly wasteful minority of people. And you and I know that that problem is growing. Wealth is being polarised. Even in the UK, as has been evidenced in recent years, it's not safe from the looming threat of climate change. And as I've said, the forthcoming summer is predicted to be warmer than this, which was the warmest year ever, and quite what that's going to throw at the UK and all the impacts that might have on our lives and of all of the lives of the things that I care, and I'm sure you care too, passionately about our wildlife and the environment, is yet unforetold. But it's not looking good. So, private flights produce up to 50 times more emissions than commercial flights. No ambiguity. Fact. The only form of travel more polluting than private jets is space travel. So unless you've got, like Musk or Bezos, a rocket stashed away in your back garden that you're going to, take a joyride on over a bank holiday weekend, your environmental impact from travel won't even make a dent in the havoc that private jet travellers are wreaking on the world. That's what it comes down to. Our government's Climate Change Committee, a veritable body actually, that have done great work and held our government to account, have stated unequivocally that there should be no more expansion of the aviation industry until a plausible way of mitigating emissions has been found. So, Farnborough, what we've got to ask, and what we're asking today, is what is your solution? How are you justifying this grossly miscalculated expansion? And please, please don't say sustainable aviation fuel. Everyone knows that that's a fantasy, and it will do, and will remain a fantasy for the foreseeable future. Frankly, it's Branson-branded bullshit. In the meantime, we can't even begin to estimate how local residents' health is being affected, not just because of the harmful pollutants produced by the jets, those ultrafine particles which aren't even being measured, but also due to the impact on their mental health. 5 flights a day going over, and now it might be subjected to up to 18 flights an hour. That's in rural areas. So what about our right to well-being? And that is so intrinsically linked to our surroundings, our environment. What about the right of our children to grow up in an environment free of contaminants? And that includes noise pollution, constant interruption, and and all of those particulates as well. Ultimately, what you've got to think of is that this comes down to justice, and justice on many levels. And what we're principally talking about here, I suppose, is climate justice, but not only that. We're calling, therefore, on Farnborough Airport to abandon any plans they have of expansion, because the lives of those private jet users are worth no more than the lives of everyone and everything else on this planet. And let me just reiterate that. Farnborough Airport, we are calling on you to abandon these plans. They are not fit for the 21st century and the way that we know, and our scientists, and indeed many of our politicians know, that we have to simply adapt and change, not continue with bad business as usual, and certainly not expand bad business. So please, Farnborough Airport, listen to this protest and rethink your plans for expansion. Thank you. And all our other thanks to everyone who has turned up today. Sometimes it takes courage to go out and protest, especially these days with the repression that we're facing when it comes to public protest. So feel good, speak to one another, energise, invigorate, and empower yourselves to know that you are making a difference. Your voice counts, your voice is important, and today your voice is being heard. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you, Chris Packham, wherever you are. So our next speaker followed his dreams. So when he was a little boy, he dreamt of being a pilot. And he became a pilot, and he continued being a pilot until one day in 2018, he'd seen so much of the impact of climate change and mass tourism that he felt he could no longer continue with his own dream, and he set up a new organisation called Safe Landing that helps people inside the aviation industry and outside it to understand what the future needs to look like. So please will you give a very warm welcome to Todd Smith.
It really warms my heart to see so many people out here today. I remember coming here in October 2021 and there was just a handful of us. So can you all give yourselves a round of applause for making the effort to come today? Extinction! Extinction! So as you just heard, I was an airline pilot for Thomas Cook, and I had a very uncomfortable conflict, a realization of my own privilege whilst I was on holiday in Peru in 2018. I was invited to go to a place which had recently been so-called discovered, called Rainbow Mountain. And I was up there, the mountain was just 100 meters lower than Everest Base Camp, looking at this beautifully coloured Rainbow Mountain, and I couldn't help but feel how bittersweet it was that there wasn't a drop of snow in sight, and I was witnessing in that moment the effects of climate change and mass tourism firsthand. And the guide had told us that Peru was one of the first countries to be hit by the climate crisis. Yes, Peru, big up Peru. And you know, that was the seed that was planted for me, but I stayed in denial a little bit longer. But ultimately my conscience will no longer allow me to return to the industry in its current state. So we're often told in our sector that safety is our #1 priority, and I'm here because I can no longer tolerate their lies. The biggest threat to our safety is climate breakdown and the potential destruction of the very destinations that we wish to visit. As aviation workers in an emergency, we're trained to think free from bias, to mitigate risk, to preserve life. As many of you will know, over 80% of the world's people have never even stepped foot on an aircraft. So I'd like you to just imagine and remember, if you have ever flown once in your life, when you're on that plane and you're being pushed back from the gate. Of course, we all want to get to our planned destination, but if at any point on that journey we encounter severe weather or a technical issue, then without hesitation the crew will come together to ensure that we change course to a safe trajectory. That is exactly what Farnborough needs to do. We have an extremely limited carbon budget left. If we're going to reduce flying in a fairer way, then we're going to need to first and foremost reduce private jets and frequent flyers. One second. So that everybody else has a chance, you know, so there's some chance for others to fly at all. We've already presented alternative plans for a low carbon future at Farnborough, and they've ignored us. We don't trust the short-term thinking of business leaders or politicians who are saying that airport expansion is good for jobs. Boo! Once the world fully comprehends the depth of the emergency that we're in, then the first thing to go is going to be private jets. It's a no-brainer, surely. And several citizens' assemblies have already recommended a ban on polluting private jets. We only need to look at the COVID-19 pandemic to see that when there's a rapid reduction of air travel, the first people to bear the brunt are aviation workers, and millions lost their jobs. So at Safe Landing, we believe in planning through early design rather than late disaster. We fully support Extinction Rebellion's third demand for citizens' assemblies, not for extinction. That's why we are championing the idea of workers' assemblies, where ordinary aviation workers can come together and decide a future that's fit for them and their industry. We recently ran our very first participatory democratic process in Bristol, and we'd like to continue to empower aviation workers in this struggle. Thank you. So in short, what we are saying is this expansion is not good for the planet, it's not good for the people of Farnborough, and it's certainly not good for aviation workers. Thank you. Please do check out safe-landing.org, especially if you are in aviation. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Todd. What a brave choice you have made. I think it's time for something a little different. Over to you guys.
Now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office at 0143 on Sunday the 22nd on behalf of the IPCC, Extinction Rebellion, Greta Thunberg, NASA and all citizens of planet Earth. Viking, northward Sierra, southward Sierra, 40s. Southwesterly, veering northwesterly, 6 to gale 8, perhaps severe gale 9, later. Rain, then wintry showers. Summer heat wave expected later. Early frost soon. High winds, then snow showers later. Moderate or poor, becoming desperate soon. General synopsis. Attention all areas, global heating predicted. Happening now, increasing exponentially later. Business as usual, moving slowly, situation critical, deepening, crisis imminent. There are warnings of gales in all areas except Westminster, where disruption is expected soon. The area forecast for the next 24 hours. Cromarty, Forth, Tyne, Dogger. Thames, Dover, Wight, Portland, Plymouth. Irish Sea, Mullen, Hebrides. Sound the alarm, our house is on fire. Antarctica, Greenland, the Arctic. Severe ice loss, increasing. Sea levels rising. Situation critical now, worse later. Alaska, Canada, California, Indonesia, Portugal, the Amazon. Temperatures rising. Severe fires burning. Time running out. Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America and South America. Outlook bleak. Worse expected. Act now, 2050. Too late. Extinction Rebellion, north, south, west and east. Panic increasing. Citizens assembling. Rebels rising now. More expected soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lightship Greta. Our next speaker is someone who has been active in opposing this airport and is also the candidate for Godalming and Ash in the next election, standing against Jeremy Hunt. The leader of Waverley Borough Council, who is also opposing the drilling in Dunsfield. Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Paul Follows.
Thank you. Good to see you again. Oh. Can I just say thank you to everyone who is here, reminding this government that protest is not only legal but necessary. Thank you all. Thank you. For most of the last 2 years I've been fighting alongside my Green Party colleague, Councillor Steve Williams, the UCOG Dunsfold drilling fiasco that they're trying to perpetrate over in Waverley, on the other side, in the east of Waverley. But over here, neighbouring the west of Waverley, this travesty is what's next. Noise complaints, increased pollution. That's before we get to the government's arguments about the economy. I cannot see how 1% of this country's economy going through this airport is going to do anything for you or me or the people who need it in this country. All of those economic arguments are spurious and need to be ignored. Now, for 2 years I've sat on a body alongside some of you here called the Farnborough Aerodrome Consultative Committee as the leader of Waverley Borough Council. Now, their website will tell you that they're London's responsible airport and that they're a carbon neutral airport. Because they're using sustainable fuels, aren't they? They're sustainable aircraft fuel. And of course they've changed all of their vehicles to electric vehicles on the site. So of course, that's fine, isn't it? That's absolutely fine. But that's because they don't have to count, because the government doesn't make them and they don't try to. They don't have to count the fact that there are planes flying out of their airports, or that that's what their business is there to support. They don't have to count that they're also selling them the fuel to do it. All of that is completely and absolutely legal in this country, and it must change. I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but there's one more thing I wanted to say about this proposal. Now, we know there should be no airport expansion in the United Kingdom because every single climate scientist in the Climate Change Committee of the United Kingdom has said we should not be doing so. So why are we doing this? We're not doing it for all of you, we're doing it for a tiny portion of the population who have decided they need it for their convenience. That's all it is, their convenience. So instead of having consultations about whether to expand this place, the very last thing I'm going to say is what I think we should all be actually proposing happens here. We should be proposing to close it entirely. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Paul Follows, and good luck in the election. Okay, 1 second. Okay, don't worry. So we have another little surprise for you coming up. So, lightship Greta, I wonder if you could prepare the way. 1 second, I'm having some new information. All right, if you're a drummer and you fancy a little walk, there's going to be a gathering. If you follow the person who's moving through the crowds then, I think they're going to move over and drummers move towards where I'm pointing. There's going to be a drummers gathering over there if you don't want to stay in here, some more speakers. All right. Don't worry, there's lots, and there's puppet show to come and all sorts of things going on here. All right, so I think we're ready for our surprise. I can see our surprise being ready. We need a foghorn to announce our surprise. And you might want to look over.
So we've just been listening to some speakers here at Farnborough Airport. For those of you who are just tuning in, welcome to the Extinction Rebellion live stream. We're at Farnborough Airport right now, listening to some speakers. We've had a local councillor speak, we've had a former pilot speak, we've had people from various campaigns working hard to prevent airport expansion and more flights taking off each year. So just to summarise, what's the problem with Farnborough, other than they are most expert at calling themselves carbon neutral and saying that they are serving the most clean aviation fuel there's ever been. We know all of that, and we've just heard it again from our speakers. We know that that's all absolute nonsense. And that being an airport by default, you can't be carbon neutral if you've got 40,000 flights a year taking off, and they now want to expand that from 40,000 to 70,000 flights a year. Just some other fun facts for you if you missed them earlier. On average, the planes leaving Farnborough and flying into Farnborough have on average 2.5 passengers on board. That's not even 3 people on board per flight. 40% of the flights arriving and leaving Farnborough Airport are actually empty, and they now have their Jets for Pets service where you can fly your dog all the way to whatever luxury destination you want your pooch to go to. Just what we needed right in the middle of a climate and ecological breakdown. So it's all pretty bad news over here, but we're having a lovely time. The sun is shining, and we're listening to some really, really remarkable speakers. And in fact, I think let's go and speak to some people here and see if we can grab them for the XR live stream. Hi guys! Would you be interested in being on the sun? Yeah, sorry. Can we talk to you guys for the XR live stream?
Absolutely.
Great. So, Finley, you're with you're both with Safe Landing. Do you want to first tell us a little bit about Safe Landing and what do you guys do?
Yeah, absolutely. So Safe Landing is for aviation workers. Anyone that's connected to the aviation industry. We've got pilots, I'm an aerospace engineer, air traffic controllers, people that work in airports. Anyone that works in the industry but is really concerned about the future, about the impact of the industry and wants it to change. So we're an umbrella group for anyone around the world in aviation that wants to do something about that.
Brilliant. So Todd, you were up there just now giving us a speech about, what made you decide to stop your career. But, I just went on the website of Farnborough Airport and they sound amazing. They're carbon neutral, their fuel is made out of cooking oil or things like that. I mean, they're brilliant. Why are we upset with them?
It's quite incredible, Marianne, isn't it? You know, the smoke and mirrors. And actually, as I mentioned, I went to Peru, and when I first started to look into the aviation problem, I found on Google many websites which are actually funded by industry lobbies, exactly like Farnborough's, and it's very, very convincing. If you don't have the depth of people like Finley, who used to work for Rolls-Royce, and these engineers who were literally working on the inside of these massive companies and knowing what they were saying on the inside compared to what was actually happening in reality was chalk and cheese. So ultimately, the greenwash that we're reading on these websites eases our anxiety, gives us that sense of relief. There's nothing to worry about. They've got it under control, and you move on and you carry on with your life, and you don't worry about it until the climate breakdown is upon us. And here we are, and calling out those lines.
So, Finley, can you run an airplane on cooking oil?
So you maybe run a couple, but you can't run like the 20,000 that are in our sky and the 40,000 that the industry is planning to expand to. Just to give you like a scale of the problem, the amount of jet fuel we use today, if we wanted to create that from cooking oil, we need the entire human consumption of oil that is farmed everywhere in the world. So obviously we should be eating most of that. Yeah. We shouldn't be wasting it, and the small amounts that are collected, you can make it into jet fuel, but maybe only 1-2% of current consumption. So it shows even with our current use, we get nowhere near. But the industry is planning to expand, and it's going to be even smaller amount. But that uses cooking oil as well. You can use it in trucks, you can use it in ships, not just planes. And we need to share it, and flying is the most energy intensive way to use that resource as well, so it's really wasteful.
Right, so they're being quite clever about it. It's not a complete lie, but it doesn't mean that they are running on clean fuel and that it's all sorted and we don't need to worry about it anymore.
Exactly. There was a big marketing stunt at the end of last year where they Virgin Atlantic flew one flight across the Atlantic and said it's 100% using this fuel. Now that was a plane that was mostly empty, and it was one flight. And you obviously got thousands a day, so it just makes people think, oh, we can do this, problem solved, when nowhere near. Yeah.
So the other thing I want to ask you guys as well is because you were talking about the workers' assembly that you're hoping to set up at some stage. Everyone always says, yeah, but the economy, it's jobs, What would you say to that? I mean, are people going to benefit from another 70,000 flights going out of here each year? Is that going to make a difference to the people's lives who are going to potentially work here?
Well, exactly. We've read many reports that say that many more jobs can be created if we create green jobs, and ultimately, if we continue to expand the aviation industry as we are, and especially even private jets, the pinnacle of injustice, the fastest way to fry the planet, then we could actually see, you know, an international legal challenge in the future when we hit 1.5 degrees, when it's internationally agreed on that we're reaching these limits, when the climate breakdown continues and is impacting us, and the true cost of climate breakdown is finally factored into our economic system. People are going to quickly realise that there is no future, and we could see this you know, overnight, similar to COVID, where there's a block on the long-term career prospects of aviation workers that are actually joining the industry, and as they're expanding, we're bringing more and more in. So we want to be reducing the amount of people that are going to be suffering in the future because of that.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much. There's some singing happening now, so I think we're going to go and listen to that. But thank you so much, and great to see you. So let's turn around. We've got some music happening over here. We've got some rapping. Do you want to go that way? I'm just going to move you out of the sun.
Complex, maybe 6, that's it. Was industrially created, fixed, restricted, fixed, rights violated, reallocated, resources that are focused on people, make wonderful possible for all, and I was stable, not living in fear of security, enforced violently, not feeling secure, held kindly by society, free the energy that wastes our world away. You listen, 45 billion on military in the UK, that's a lot of money, surely better potential, power to the peaceful, prioritising health and school, guns make problems. Power to the peaceful. Guns make problems. Power to the peaceful. Big up to you, peaceful people. Thank you. And I've got one more tune after this, I think. This one is about the Money and Oil Conference that happened in October. And I'll just jump into the tune. In October annually, the Money Oil Conference, where oil companies and politicians set precedents of a turbulent environment. This doesn't sit right. Oil calls decisions despite increasing Fahrenheit. Fossil fuels reduce 82% of CO2. CEO of oil are given this political avenue. Pursue policy on energy for own interest. People seeing through, raise the issue in protest. Consciousness a compass, we can solve the crisis. Currently depend on fuel, they set the prices. Cost of fuel and subsequently living skyrocket. Ordinary people suffer fossil fuel profits. Line pockets using fuel poverty. Break free of dependency. Energies abundant naturally. Can harness the power of the wind, sea, sun, indefinitely and unconditionally for everyone. The answers know is feasible and essential. Renewables are key to unlock human potential. Well-being of us and the world's inseparable. Questionable, Mr. Oil at the political table. Greta, trying to help make things better. Started school strikes on worsening weather. No one's too small to make a difference. She protests this conflict of interest conference. For peacefully participating, met to rest her. She stands for the future, a justice connoisseur. Feels necessary, there's no intention of transition. As current institutions are built on collusion. O-I-L-Y, they ain't got no alibi. They oily, 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 they oily. Politicians start putting well-being at the heart of decisions that are made on our behalf. We can emerge out of this emergency, make it a turning point for humanity. Bring power and systems back to balance, not held using the threat of violence. See, the war machine needs oil, turns out BP gas under Gaza's soil. This power is literally carcinogenic. There's good toolkits to fix it quick. People's assemblies, democracy hands-on, or monopoly more toxic than Britney's song. Sucking up all the dinosaur soup, let those guys rest. Let's regroup, this energy is dangerous and finite. There's clean, free, forever energy in light. What they talked about solar in there, I'm getting real worried about the polar bear. Like Attenborough, I care for nature, want a shared future, not a scared future. O-I-L-Y, they ain't got no no alibi. They oily, oily, oily. They oily. Thank you.
Well done, we're now goodbye beginning.
All right. So our next speaker spent the last 5 years fighting Bristol's airport, and he has also been coordinating airport resistance across the UK. Give it up for Steve.
Hello, hello, hello. How can I follow that? That was amazing. One more round of applause for our rapper. She's fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, well, it's great to see all these people. Lots of people from Bristol have come up to support you. Come up to support and to learn, because we can all learn from each other and help each other. So I'm helping to coordinate a group called No Airport Expansion, which sounds revolutionary, but it's actually just what the Climate Change Committee have told us. We're only adopting what they say. Bristol Airport Action Network have been going since 2018, having a long struggle with Bristol Airport, and we've learnt an awful lot from that. So let's talk about this. So what's actually happening here? The planning permission they've applied for is to get 20,000 extra planes a year. 20,000. Can you imagine? Private jets are peak stupidity. It is absolutely mad. What are they for? Almost half of them, Chris Packham told us earlier, almost half of them are empty. Therefore, our Prime Minister, he flew to COP in Egypt, flew back the next day, takes a private jet flight on average once every 8 days. This is our leader. This is the person that's supposed to be leading us. You'll also be very pleased to know, I'm sure, that there's a growing trend for private jets which are carrying people's cats and dogs. That's right. People are using their jets to carry their pets from A to B. One of the main problems with this, as you all know, is the carbon that's emitted, the amount of carbon. But there's also the non-CO2 gases. So look above you. See the contrails. They're part of the problem. They've got potentially 3 times as much impact as the carbon, those non-CO2 gases. So don't forget about those. This is an industry that's swimming in greenwash. In Bristol, they said we're going to be a carbon neutral airport by 2030. Everybody said, great. The trouble is, it doesn't include the planes, and it doesn't include the cars that drive people to get the planes. The techno fixes, sustainable aviation fuel. We'll be hearing a lot about that. Recently there was a flight from London to New York using 100% sustainable aviation fuel. If ever anything was misnamed, it's that. Because when it comes out the back of the jet engine, it produces exactly the same stuff, the carbon and the non-carbon, as normal aviation fuel. It is not sustainable. Do not be conned by sustainable aviation fuel. So, what do we think? Do we trust the local planning process? Oh, really? I think you're right, actually, because we had this in Bristol. There's been thousands of comments on this planning application, and I'm told by local people that the percentage against is about 82% against. Will that be enough to stop it? Well, I'm not sure. What you need to do is to contact your councillors. Rushmore Council, contact Rushmore Council, and your local MPs, because this is an election year, and it's been my experience that if there's one time that politicians listen to you, it's the period leading up to an election. This is a uniquely good time to try and influence what's happening. Lastly, I would say, you can make a difference. You really can make a difference. Put your hand up if you think you can make a difference. You can make a difference, but you have to act. You have to be active. Write to your local councillor, write to your local MPs. Come on marches like this. 20,000 extra private jets a year coming from this airport. It's insanity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Steve. That's really motivating. So next, we thought we'd do something for the kids. So we are delighted to say that XR families are putting on a puppet show. So please gather round to hear the story about Rishi and the private jets. Welcome, please, to the puppet show.
One, two, one, two.
Excuse me, are you okay if I live stream the children doing the show?
Yes,
okay?
yes. Yeah, is it okay if they live stream it? Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And Alexia, you're okay with the live streaming? You don't mind? Yeah.
Do you want to hold it for a bit?
Stretch your legs.
It's working, okay.
Hello? Oh, hi. Hi, everyone. We're the Extinction Rebellion Families puppet show. This is totally unrehearsed. This has only been done once before with a totally different group. So it might be a bit ramshackle, but we wanted to have lots of audience participation. So someone down there got the boo sign. There's going to be some baddies in this show, so we're expecting to hear you all some nice loud booing when it's the right time, okay? And this here is Green Spines the Hedgehog, and I'm going to hand over now to our young crew to take over. Okay, off you go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Green Spines the Hedgehog. I have come out of hibernation today because I've heard there's something happening at Farnborough Airport to do with private jets. So I've come here to find out more. Oh, what's that, children? Well, okay, what's that?
Does anyone know what this is?
Yep. Something special about this aeroplane. What sort of aeroplane is it?
Private jet.
Do you use private jets? No! Funny that. I don't either. Most of us don't. Apparently only rich people do. Oh look, there's someone coming out of the jet. Oh look, who is it? Oh, hello, it's Prime Minister Rishi Hello, Rishi. Rishi loves his private jets. Who else do we have that's coming out of a private jet? Oh, look, here we go. It's Taylor Swift. Yay! Hello, Taylor.
Taylor.
And who's over here? Oh, hello, billionaires and oligarchs. Wait, stop, whoa. There's something else coming out the jet. What's that? What? It's polluted! No, pollution! Oh no! Carbon dioxide! No! Do you know what's wrong with this? Any of you? What's wrong with CO2?
What's wrong with carbon dioxide? It heats the planet!
Yes! It's got the climate emergency! Panic! We need to stop this now! What are we gonna do? Wait. Taylor Swift has a question. Okay, make it quick. What is...
So how much pollution comes out of a private jet? Is it really worse than other forms of transport?
Yes, Taylor, it is worse. It's the most polluting and highest emission form of travel apart from space. A private jet causes about 10 times more CO2 emissions than regular flight per person, and 15 times more than average train ride. 80% of the world's population have never flown, yet they're the ones who are most impacted by the climate crisis. In just 1 hour, a single private jet can emit 2 tons of CO2. The global average energy-related carbon footprint is around 4.7 tons of CO2 per person per year.
Ew, that's awkward. Maybe private jets aren't as cool as I thought.
No, they are not cool, Taylor. It's time you stopped using them. Oh, there's all this pollution and CO2 everywhere. Rishi, please, we need your help. Rishi, someone has to clean this up.
Rishi, right up.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Rishi, right up.
Hey, Rishi.
I think someone does have to clean this up. Okay, who, please? The children! A bit too late, but okay. The children, wait, did you say the children? No, I would never say that, no. Oh, thank goodness. So, who is going to clean up all this pollution and CO2? How are they going to do it, please? Carbon capture, storage and offsetting. Yes. Wait, that works? Well, not yet, but when the children grow up, they can figure out how to sort it out, I'm sure. But, wait a minute. So, you actually are saying that the children are going to have to clean the mess up? Children, is that fair? Do you want to clean up after Rishi and all of these rich lunatics, do you? No! Oh, look, what's that, Rishi? Look, hear that? Hey, you lot, be quiet! Enough of your complaining! Didn't you know about the anti-protest laws? It's important to shut people like you up! Oh no, whatever am I going to do? Anti-protest laws. I guess we'll all have to go home now. Oh no. Okay, Rishi. You hear we don't like private jets. What are you gonna do then? I have had enough of this. We are going to expand Farnborough Airport. Even more private jets. We'll have a private jet army. Burn up the climate. I hate climate. Private jets. So many private jets. So many. Even more. That means even more pollution. Oh no. What are we gonna do?
So, what is it?
are we going to do?
So, do you...
Citizens' Assembly!
Be quiet. Wait. There's someone... You shut it! There's someone else here. Someone extremely important who didn't arrive by private jet.
Come here.
Someone who was here all along. It's Mother Earth! Hello, Mother Earth! Cheers, Mother Earth! Speak quietly. Let me just hear what she's saying. Oh, okay. So, she said she got a song. She would like us to join in. Can we join in, Mother Earth? Yeah, okay. Cue the lyrics. Okay, the lyrics.
Here's the lyrics. So we're hoping you all sing along with
Cue the
Mother Earth's
music.
song here, yeah?
Music! Now! Music! I said music. Do the music. Now!
I can't stand your flashy ways, leaving behind a pollution haze. Rishi, can't you see? Your private jets are endangering me. And I can't stand your flashy ways, leaving behind a pollution haze. Rishi, can't you see? Your private jets are endangering me. And I can't stand your flashy ways, leaving behind a pollution haze. Rishi, can't you see? Your private jets are endangering me. And I can't stand your flashy ways, leaving behind a pollution haze.
Thank you, Mother Earth! Thank you, everyone! Woo!
Thank you!
We'll see you at the airport! Woo!
Thank you.
I'll take a bow.
Oh, we should interview the hedgehog. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Puppet Show! Let's give them a minute to climb down inside Lightship, Greta. Off you go. Yep. Okay, I'd love to welcome you to our last and certainly not least speaker, who's speaking on behalf of Flight Free UK. So they raised the awareness of the climate impact of flying. So please give a big round of applause to Anna Hughes.
Thanks everyone, hi. Yes, so I'm Anna from Flight Free UK, and careful we're not tripping over wires here. And yeah, we're a charity that encourages people to travel without flying. We run a pledge, actually. We ask people to pledge to take a flight-free year, because that's a really good way to break a habit and try the alternatives. So all of our work is about encouraging people to choose low carbon travel because of obviously emissions reduction, and we give a lot of information about how to do that and why we should do that as well. So yeah, just to get the plug in now, if you go to flightfree.co.uk, you can have a look at the work we do and hopefully sign up for a flight-free year yourself. So the Committee on Climate Change is the government's advisors, and they say there should be no airport expansion. They are very clear that the way in which we can reduce emissions from aviation is to fly less. The government is not interested. The government is not going to tell us to fly less. They're pretending that we can continue to fly more, because their theory and their way of dealing with aviation emissions is called Jet Zero. and it relies on sustainable aviation fuel, or so-called sustainable aviation fuel, I should say, new technology that hasn't been invented yet, and offsetting. I don't need to explain to you why sustainable, so-called sustainable fuels, new technology and offsetting are not the answer. But ultimately, we need to shrink the aviation industry, not grow it. Airport expansion is bad for everything. It is bad for the local community through increased noise and air pollution. It is bad for the global community through increased climate change emissions. But it's also really bad for local wildlife. And this is something that gets overlooked. So around an airport, the airport workers are allowed to remove birds' nests for a 30-mile radius. The lights of the runway and the noise of the aircraft taking off are really damaging to insect and bird populations. Any expansion and infrastructure is often on greenbelt land. It's really damaging for biodiversity and the local prosperity of wildlife and the animals that we share this planet with. Any airport expansion is bad for everything, not just climate change emissions, not just noise pollution, not just the insects. It's bad for everything. The airlines will tell us that we can solve this through new technology, but that doesn't solve the problem of the physical expansion of the airport. It doesn't solve the problem, as Steve pointed out, of the contrails. It doesn't solve the problem. It solves a tiny bit of the problem. But even the airlines are realistic about the fact that this isn't going to help us when it comes to our flying habits. We can't replace long-haul flights with new technology. We might be able to replace short-haul flights with hydrogen, let's say, but what the airline industry is doing is seeing that as an excuse to expand the short-haul industry rather than to overall decrease emissions from aviation. It just doesn't add up. Farnborough is guilty of all these things, but it's different because it's a private jet airport. And we have already heard so much about the inequality of private jets. This industry epitomises the inequality of the climate crisis, which is where it is the wealthy who are doing the most damage, and the ones who are suffering the first and the most are the ones who have done the least to cause it. This is why there should be no expansion here. The wealthy will do what they want because they can afford not to care. But we care. That is why we're here. And that is why we need private jets to be taxed, ideally to be banned, and for there to be no airport expansion. Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Anna. Wonderful. I'm going to hand over to some Greenpeace speakers. Here you go.
Hello. We're not the planned speakers for Greenpeace, but we're both coordinators in Hampshire, with different Greenpeace groups in Hampshire and Surrey, and we just want to say Greenpeace is completely behind this. Thank you all the organisers, because this has been amazing. Thank you, organisers. Greenpeace's main campaign at the moment is to get 1 million climate voters signed up. So go on the Greenpeace website, sign up as a climate voter, which is just your name and your postcode, so that we can go to every political party that 1 million people do care about climate. That's the only point of our campaign, is to just put pressure on every single political party. So, well done everybody for organising.
Yeah, this has been so impressive, guys. Thank you very much for doing all this.
Brilliant, thank you very much, and thank you Greenpeace for everything you do. Okay, coming to the end, and I thought we might like to finish with another song. What do you think? Woo! Oh, we good, bud, beginning. Hello everyone. Woo!
do you guys want? Okay, I'll do a few more then, if that's alright. Because I'm going to do one, but it's a bit deep and dark, but it says a lot. So if that's alright with everyone to go deep. Cool. I'll roll with that. And then I'll try and do some more happier ones as well. Alright. This is called Humankind. We are humankind in scary time. Humankind in scary time. Humankind in scary time. Try not to fold like origami, but feel like we're facing a shit tsunami. Capitalism hold us down till we drown. Having a breakdown as climate breaks down. Need to put the brakes on what we take. So freaky in my boots I shake. Quakes me like the earth in Haiti, but don't wanna be angry or hate. Terrible tragedy we are facing, hurtling towards uncertain times, hurting. Fears long led in society's bled. Everyone asleep, yet we lie awake in bed, yo. Can't sleep, don't wanna get up. Can't sleep, don't wanna get up. Can't sleep, don't wanna get up. Wake up, shake up, system unfuck. Rise like lions after slumber, in unvanquishable number. Shake chains to the earth like dew. Which in sleep have fallen on you now. We are many, they are few, as said by Shelley. Planet Earth crew, change the view. Hope rooted in reality. Symptoms of slavery, set nasty trajectory. Need originality. Humans made the system so we can change the system. Make it a mission, no oppression. Bright vision to transform. Rise and shine like the sun at dawn. Look through clear eyes, not fear eyes. Realize lies, learn to become allies. To community suffering on front line. Ask them about how best to align. Action with what needs to happen to heal harm and support protection. Lessons in indigenous people's sense of connection. Listen to their perception for direction. Let them and the science lead, not shit politicians driven by greed. They don't even feed their own people, treating humans as units, unequal. Can't trust to support us in uncertain time. Powerful political criminal define crime, murder civilians, they criminals of war. Yet somehow they write the law. What? In 2019, climate emergency declared. I'm scared it's time we prepared. Yet make money from increasing emissions. Don't fund education but more ammunition. The law condemns suffering and harm. Imprison peaceful protesters who sound the alarm. Personally, I can't consider that legitimacy. Must urgently address the emergency. Desperate situation, social contract broken. Mass loss of life needs solutions in motion. Economic system based on growth, infinite, but with finite resources. What an embarrassment. May destroy the very nature we depend on. So I'ma stand strong and defend. System we've inherited was built on terror. Don't mean we got to be trapped in it forever. Brave to acknowledge on a climate cliff edge. Face to face, courage inspires courage. Trying to make us victims of a system so violent, but the public isn't sleeping. Trying need to be so careful. It don't tippy turn. Witness flash floods in the Amazon burn. Oil and other industries sell out our future. Sacrifice lives so billionaires get richer. Navigate to safety, environment turbulent to prevent children who are innocent from suffering. Unimaginably earth uninhabitable. We must act now, our planet's irreplaceable and beautiful feels heavy. Shit's unsteady, build futures of hope to cope. Get ready, people in the global south suffer right now. Human beings being treated like cash cow and cows and animals being treated worse. Of our little planet in a fucking huge universe may cost the earth to prioritize property. Evidently the global majority in poverty. We are humankind in scary time. Humankind in scary time. Humankind in scary time. We are humankind in scary times. Humankind in scary time. Humankind in scary time. Thanks for coming on that journey with me, everyone. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I've got a tune that I wrote for my mum called Babylon Baby. She was trying to get me to stay out of trouble. So yeah, big up to the parents and the people who are caring for people.
Oh God, no.
I haven't thought about what to say, my friends. Thank you for offering them, Ryan.
It's alright. In that case, we're going to wrap up.
Yeah, I think we're going to, once finished, we're going to see how people feel about sort of walking back together. So feel free to head off, but that's what's happening this side. Thank you, Andy.
Okay, just getting some final little instructions on what's going to happen next. So I think there's going to be a little bit of music still happening here, and then we're going to slowly march back to Farnborough Town Centre. But I think for the live stream we're going to wrap up. So just to recap some of the stuff that you've seen here today. So we started off earlier in Farnborough Town Centre. We were a coalition of movements. So we heard Greenpeace, we heard no airport expansion, we heard lots of Farnborough Noise Group. I can't even remember so many, but yeah, it was just incredible to see so many different organisations, so many different groups, so many members of the community. We had a local councillor from the Waverley Council as well. Just a huge mix of people, all these people equally concerned, frankly terrified of the fact that this airport wants to almost double the flights coming in and out of the airport while we are in the middle of a climate and ecological emergency. This has to be stopped. We cannot afford to waste any more time on more flights going into the air. The planet cannot handle it, and we've also had really great thorough explanations by former aviation engineer and former pilots explaining to us why calling this airport carbon neutral is absolute nonsense, why sustainable and clean fuel is absolute nonsense. It just isn't true. They're lying to us. They're doing it on purpose. They don't care about the ordinary citizens. They think they can buy their way out of this crisis, where at the end of the day you can't. Money is not going to get you out of this emergency. We're all in this together. We have to all unite to survive. We have to stand together to stop absolute apocalyptic scenarios in the very near future. So that's what we're here for today. It's not just about Farnborough Airport, it's about private jets in general. On average, only 3 people per airplane coming and going out of this airport. They're now flying their dogs all over the place with jets for pets. It's unacceptable and it has to stop. We have to put more pressure on the government to tell them to at least tax these flights, if not just ban them altogether. Again, the argument of the economy, how millions of pounds are going to be pumped into the economy due to the private jet industry and private aviation. It's all nonsense. We know we need green jobs. We need jobs that are going to be suitable for a future where we are working within the resources that our planet has, where people can be proud of what they're doing, that they're building towards a brighter future for everybody involved. So that's it from the Extinction Rebellion live stream for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do come and see us again for the next action. There's going to be lots more happening in the next few months. We're definitely revving it back up. We've had our year of building, talking, coming together, and it's now to step things back up. So that is definitely what we'll be doing. We'll be reporting it to you live on the XR Facebook page, XR YouTube and other platforms as well, so you'll be able to tune in to that. But for now, have a lovely day everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.